as a fan or as someone from the outside, I just want to understand, what goes on from the player side of things. How does a transfer take place? How is the communication flow happen? So does the agent tell you? Does the club approach you first? How does that work?
Well, sometimes the club approaches you to ask you who your agent is because uh, I don't know. I've been with another agent previously, and people in the market know that I'm with this agency. But if I've changed my agency recently, they don't know about it yet. So they sometimes reach out to the old agency, or they reach out to me asking me who my agent is, and then I just pass it on. And then it's the game of waiting, and it's like you get so anxious and you keep troubling your agent all the time. I know I still do that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Football Unplugged with me, Satvik. In today's episode of the podcast, we have last year's ISL champion with us. We have someone from Mumbai City FC, and my conversation with him is probably one of the best conversations I've had, and one of the most heartwarming conversations I've had with anyone from talking about football. And I'm so convinced that when you go through this entire episode, you'll love everything about him and everything about his journey. And it's one of the most inspiring journeys that I've seen. And from Mumbai's bottom tier league to then winning the ISL. And we highlight and we talk about the stories of the likes of Jamie Vardy's and other such European or foreign players. It's time we start talking about stories like Hardik Bhatt, who is going to be our guest in this particular podcast. Stay tuned, and I'm sure there's a lot for you to learn and just listen to from this particular episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Football Unplugged with me, Satvik. And today I have someone very special with me. We have an ISL champion amongst us. And Hardik, I am absolutely thrilled and glad. And first of all, welcome to the show. I'm very excited about this particular episode. And, ever since, we've had the initial conversation, I was just very keen. So thank you so much for accepting the invitation. And I'm absolutely glad that you've accepted it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to have a chat with you about everything that you're going to ask. And I've been following your page for a while, and it's really wonderful that you're doing so. Really
All
excited
right,
to be here.
thank you so much. Okay, Hardik, diving straight into the conversation. So, anyone I have a interview or anyone I have a conversation with, I usually the first question or something that I'm very eager to know is like when did football start for you? Like how early did you figure out, or how what was the first conscious awareness that you had about football, if I may say?
Well, if you ask me, when I was introduced to the sport football, it was, I think I remember being in the third grade or something when we were playing in my building, like my society. And it was just all friends. It was never like serious, but it was so much fun. And we, like in India, like everyone knows, we don't have grounds. Like, we play on concrete,
Yeah,
and
correct.
we have like a probably a 3v3 or a 4v4 space that we can play on, but that's where it all began in my building. And the earliest memory I would have of football would be uh, me playing in my building and scoring a hat trick. And then people start, like, in my building they used to call me hat trick and not Hardik. That was like that's the earliest memory that I have.
So like now that you play as a right back, so were you always keen on the defensive side of the thing, or were you like every probably aspiring footballer wanting to be a center forward and then probably
I was a center midfield. I was a cam, and in my Mumbai football days, when I was representing Dena Bank in the Super Division, uh, a coach of mine, so we had one of these practice games that we were playing, and one of our right backs had not come, and the second right back got injured in, say, the last 30 minutes or so. And coach always knew I'm a very hardworking player, So he said, that was my first year with the club, Dana Bank. And he was like, Hardik, just play right back for the last 15, 20 minutes. I was like, I don't. And I played so well that the whole season I've taken the place of the first and the second right back, and I've played the whole season as a right back.
And
So
so from then, right back has been your, let's say, your main position.
yes, I never changed that because I started enjoying the position so much. The fact that I was good at defending and I had the freedom to go up when I'm playing under a coach who has that, system. I really enjoyed that. So I always stuck to this position.
So when you sort of started, transitioning into that right back position, was there someone that you really looked up to, someone that you aspired to be like all, budding or aspiring footballers?
Well, to be honest, I in India, I always looked up to Rahul Bhai, uh,
Hmm.
and I was lucky enough to get a chance to
Maybe.
play alongside him as well. But yeah, I've always watched him, and he's fantastic. He's so calm on the ball. I think in the back line, he's the Mister Dependable. You can depend on him. He's that sort of a player. Apart from that, in international football. I don't know, like there have been so many players, but not one particular player that I've liked. I've liked traits of different players and I've tried to pick up from them, but not any one singular player.
And if you had to, relate someone that your playing style matches with a lot, who would that player, in international or Indian stage be, if there's any?
I have a little bit of Trent in me, and I have a little bit of
Extremely good
Kyle
on the
Walker
ball.
in me.
Yeah. Does your coach plan to deploy you in the midfield next season?
Well, no, but I really enjoy this position, and I don't know. Like my father wants me to play striker. He's like, I think you need to be scoring goals. Like any Indian uh, father or someone who's not really, watching football so religiously, they'd be like, why are you playing defense? Why aren't you scoring goals?
just
It's
just
cute.
just like any Indian parent, तुम IS में टॉप क्यों नहीं कर रहे, तुम वहां पे इसको रन क्यों नहीं बना रहे?
Yeah. But they've been super supportive. Like I've been so grateful to have my family with me throughout this whole journey. They've been extremely supportive, and without them, this wouldn't have been possible. Like there's a long story that goes to my hotel management career, and that's when I decided I want to leave my hotel management and I want to pursue football. Anyway, so yeah,
So yeah,
been
so
lucky enough.
just when you brought, that is what I wanted to know as well. So like, how did it come to, like, how did your professional transition to, professional football take place? And what age group were you in? Were you always Had you always planned to become a professional footballer? So could you brief us about the transition that you had into becoming a professional footballer?
I always wanted to become a professional footballer, but at that time, I I never thought it was practically possible for me. I would always say to everyone. I remember I was in eighth grade, and my French professor, he asked me, like, he was like, he it was his first day, so he was asking everyone, what do you want to be? I remember telling in the class that I want to be a professional football player, and he said, that's not possible, Hardik. There's no scope of football in India. And it was just there in my head since always, and that's the first time I was, it fueled me. I was like, okay, I want to show him that I can be a
Yeah,
footballer. That's not the whole driving force behind it, but
obviously.
I always wanted to be, but I never saw a pathway, a clear pathway. I never played academy football. I never played like the age group football under 17s, U19s, or U21s for that matter. I was into different stuff. Like I said, I was interested in being a chef. So I did hotel management after my 12th grade. Uh, 6 months into it, I realized it's a full time course. It takes up the whole day, and I didn't really get time to play football. Even though I was just playing with my friends at that time, I did not get time to play football. That's when I realized that I cannot stay away from football. This is something that I want to do, and I wanted to take it up professionally. That's when I told my parents that hotel management is an expensive course, and I told them that I want to leave it now. I want to pursue football as a professional. Not once did they tell me that no, you shouldn't do it. They were like, go for it. They were like, go for it. Just be honest to your sport. Just be honest to yourself. And the biggest support at that time was my brother, my elder brother. He's been a cricketer in his time, so he was there to support me all out, and
So
that's how it
you
started.
you must be like what 18, 19, 19, 20 when you sort of started that switch, right?
I was 17, turning 18.
Okay, so Hardik, India may anyways, as professional footballers or just as footballers, we tend to start much later than someone like a European kid would do, and
Yeah.
then starting as late as let's say a 17 or a 18 into the professional arena. How was that transition? Must have been very difficult, not being from an academy background. How did that sort of transition take place?
Well, the biggest gap between me and the people who have played football since they were very young was the basics, which I sort of realized before I was entering the field professionally. I knew that this is something that I really, really will have to work on. And so for the first 2 years after my hotel management, I was just training alone on the beach, working on my basics. I did not go to a team. I needed competitive games, but I also knew that I need to work on my basics first. Because as you know, when you go to a team, the coaches don't have the liberty to work with individuals, and especially in the lower divisions, say the last division of Mumbai, the coaches probably might not be that skilled or qualified to actually focus on you and help you. I mean, they're very helpful. They try to do whatever they can, but the right growth, what I'm saying is, so I knew I wouldn't get that with the club. I thought of training alone for a couple of years. I trained on the beach because there are no grounds in Mumbai. uh, it was better to train on the beach than a concrete place.
Hmm.
So first 2 years were the beaches, and then I decided to go for a team. I decided to go for a trial. The very first trial that I went for was Air India, the senior team. I was just 19 years old, turning 20, and that's when I went to Air India. That was my first ever trial in Indian football. So,
Hardik, again, just before moving ahead, I just want to say, just this bit is so inspirational because I've seen so many people, saying, "Yaar, मैं तो 18-19 साल का हो चुका हूं. It's already too late for me to become a professional
yeah,
footballer." Even coming from academy backgrounds, right? So, just hats off to you. Training 2 years alone at dropping college. I think it's just so inspirational. I think I've had that excuse to myself, where I was like, yeah, nahi yaar, ab to bahut late ho gaya, ab nahi soch sakte, why would I switch the career? So very inspirational. I think congratulations, and I'm
thank
glad
you
that you
so
made that
much.
choice. Right. So again, you've done the hard bit. You've done the hard struggle from, let's say, the lowest division of Mumbai to then
Yeah.
becoming the ISL champion, of the top tier of Indian football, and that to achieving with your home city. Like, how was that experience? How was that like? Is it safe for me to assume that last year was your best year in terms of professional football?
Yet, yes.
Yet,
Best year
oh,
yet.
that correct, correct.
The
So,
best
like,
is
how
yet to
how was
come,
that?
but so far, yes.
So, like, how was
Uh,
that overall experience?
it was so surreal. Like you would dream of such things. People just dream of these things, and for me to get an opportunity to play for my hometown and win the shield with them, it it was just like it's something. It's a feeling that I cannot put into words because uh, it was I was overwhelmed. I was so joyed. It was emotional. Having my family there watching me play, having my friends, people who I've grown up with, support for me, cheer for me. It was really, and even when I'm talking about it, I'm just so sort of emotional because it brings back all the memories and the flashes of those days.
I think it's just very joyous for me just hearing this from you.
Yeah,
Your parents must have been so proud that day. That
yeah,
leaving that hotel management course, everything would have. You might have had that thought. Everything is worth
yeah,
it, right?
yeah, absolutely.
So, Hardik, you were, on loan to Mumbai City FC last year from Rajasthan United, your current club, right? So,
Yeah.
as a fan or as someone from the outside, I just want to understand, what goes on from the player side of things. How does a transfer take place? How is the communication flow happen? So, does the agent tell you? Does the club approach you first? How does that work?
Well, sometimes the club approaches you to ask you who your agent is because uh, I don't know. I've been with another agent previously, and people in the market know that I'm with this agency. But if I've changed my agency recently, they don't know about it yet. So they sometimes reach out to the old agency, or they reach out to me asking me who my agent is, and then I just pass it on. And then it's the game of waiting, and it's like you get so anxious and you keep troubling your agent all the time. I know I still do that. I'm like, any updates? Is there anything positive? It's like there's so many things going on, and you just have to wait patiently and have that faith and trust in your work, obviously, but also in your agent because he's out there representing you. So they're
So,
doing a
like,
great job.
the first time when you came to know about Mumbai City's interest in you, so what was that moment? How did you come to know about this? Was it from your
I
agent? Was it
couldn't
a rumor?
believe it. No, I couldn't believe it. So it wasn't a rumor. So someone from there reached out to me asking me who my agent was. I was like, what is happening? Like, it was like, wow, this is a dream. And out of all the clubs, Mumbai City FC, it's my hometown. It's the reason I was so excited, and I'm still so excited talking about it, is because it's my hometown. So yeah, then I just passed it on to my agent. Had to wait a couple of days because we were approaching the deadline.
Hmm.
I think this was around 24th of Jan,
Hmm.
24th of Jan or 25th of Jan. And then I just passed it on to my agent, and then he took it from there and handled it very well. Made it all happen.
And like, what was the moment? Like, how was the moment when you told it to your family? Ki, yaar, I'm finally playing
So
with Mumbai City.
I called my so my brother stays in Australia, so it was too late for him. It was probably like 3 or 4 o'clock, so I didn't call him. At 9:30 p.m., it was confirmed that I'm going there. So I took my mom and dad and my girlfriend on a call, and I told them, guys, I'm coming to Mumbai for the next 6 months, and they were like, worried. What happened? Is it an injury or something went wrong with the club? What's happening? And then I told them because I did not tell them that there is any movement going on with me moving to Mumbai City. I did not want them to get too excited and then if it doesn't work out. So I didn't tell them anything. So I just took all three of them on call and I was like, I'm coming to Mumbai for 6 months. And I sounded very serious. They're like, what happened? And I'm like, wait, let me FaceTime y'all. I FaceTimed them and I told them that Mumbai City, I've signed the deal with Mumbai City on loan. I'm going to be there for 6 months. They were so excited.
This is just so heartwarming. I'm just so happy. Just a young boy living his dream. That is what I think
Yeah,
football does to
absolutely.
all of us, right?
It does, absolutely.
So, how was the entire experience with the Mumbai City camp? How was Des as a coach, and how was the entire squad? What was the experience there? Like, what was the difference from, let's say, a I League team in Rajasthan to, let's say, obviously, the best team in the country, if I may say, to
Yeah.
Mumbai City? What was the change, or how was that overall experience in the squad, if I may say?
Well, Des, as a coach and as a human being, he's absolutely amazing. Like he's helped me grow so much in terms of football as well as off the pitch. The way he carries himself, the mentality that he carries. Um, it's just like when you are with him as his player, you are bound to grow because he pushes you so hard. There's no scope of lagging behind. You just have to push so hard, and everyone there is fighting so hard for a spot. I think the level of competitiveness over there was really, really high, which is what also helped me grow so much. The players there were
So
amazing.
when
Like they're all so welcoming.
yeah, so when it comes to Des just pushing you a lot, how like if you could sort of narrow it down further, like was it on the pitch, was it just tactically? What was that pushing all about?
It was everything. It was tactically and technically. Like they he put so much. Uh, I wouldn't say pressure, but like the training would have to be so perfect for you to feature in the team in the game. Like no bad touches, no bad passes. Like it has to be running smooth perfectly. Like that's the sort of mentality that he brings. And even though they won all the games till they won the Shield, after that there was no
No
sort
let
of
off.
yeah, like they were not complacent, they were not content with it. you know that's the mentality that he brings in, of not being content with no matter what you've achieved. They did amazingly in the AFC last season. They reached the finals of the run, I guess, yeah, the run cup last season. They won the Shield, but they were just hungry for more. Every minute of the game they wanted to be. That is the sort of mentality that he brings in, and that's why a player grows so much under him. I've seen so many players who played under him this season grow so much. So
you know just I think it's so important that players get the right coaches, especially when they're sort of young, and starting out. Getting
yeah,
someone like Des must have been one of the best experiences you've had from a player
yeah, it
coach
was it
perspective.
was an easy transition for me because
Hmm.
at Rajasthan, this coach has the same mentality. Coach
Okay.
Pushpender Kullu, he's got this. He's so demanding, and when it comes to backing his players, he's always there. He'll always back his players, and that gives you so much uh, confidence in yourself. It's because you know
Yeah.
your coach trusts you.
Yes. So coming to the coaches, like how important is your relationship with the coach, or just the coach's trust in you? How important is that mentally for a player to do well?
I mean, it's everything. When you're on the field and you don't have a gun on your shoulder, thinking if I make one
Hmm.
mistake, I'm probably
I'm
out
out
the
of it.
next time. You know, your whole season shouldn't feel like a trial for you. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? It
Yeah.
shouldn't feel like you're on a trial every game. It's
Hmm.
just the sort of that's how that's where the coaches management comes in. I feel I am too young to give you a coach's perspective, but I've been very fortunate enough to play under a lot of coaches, and few of the best ones. uh,
Wow.
I think as a footballer I've grown the most in the last year because I had two of the best coaches that I've had in my life in a span of 1 year. I had Coach Kunu and I had Coach Des just in the span of 1 year, and I've grown so much as a footballer. I still have a lot to grow. That never
Hmm.
stops, but this
Correct.
really helped me get on the right path, go in the right direction.
Like you've mentioned, especially let's say 10 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, the financial aspect of thing was a major hindrance for people, giving everything for football.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
having sort of, come from, let's say, the lowest division of Mumbai to the top tier of Indian football, how has the entire, financial bit changed, and what has ISL contributed to that?